Good morning. Let's get going. Good morning. Are we live? Are we here? Are we ready to go? Let's just check. Ticking all the boxes. Good morning. Early to the party. Come on in. Gorgeous sunny day here in the southeast of England. What about where you are? Come on in. Bring your tea. It's lovely today. Lovely. Not a cloud in the sky. Just got an irritating neighbour who's found the switch on his strimmer and he's adamant that he's going to sort it out, and all of the garden. Can you hear? No, you probably can't. But there you go, sunny day, midweek. Stands to reason, really. Good morning, come on in. Steve, good morning. I know you're in there with our friends. Could you just send me a little text to let me know that the sound is good? I would appreciate that. And you good people, if you have any questions, Steve Ellen is with us today. And what he doesn't know about clarity, you probably don't even need to know. So ask him anything and he will probably be able to give you an answer. Whether it's the correct one or not, I don't know, but he'll certainly have something to say. Come on in. We're still in Africa, aren't we? What's the time? 4 minutes to. Easy. Lovely to have your company again. Are you a person that turns up early, or are you a person that always turns up late? What are you? I'm an early bird. Yeah, I'm an early bird. Better to be early than late in my head. But you know, there are people, they just cannot be early. They cannot be on time. They just cannot be punctual. It's weird, isn't it? My brother's like me, and my mum and dad, we're all early birds. So's Dave. But Dave has a habit. If he says, I'll be home at 2, I know he'll be home at 3. I think that's the farming in him. But it's okay, just accept it, don't you? If he says, I'll be home at 5 o'clock, I just add an hour. And then I don't get frustrated. The dinner's not fried to a frazzle. And he walks in and I'm fine with it because I knew he was going to be an hour late anyway. Right, come on in. We're in Africa. Go on, it's going to get hot. We need to get started. Can you hear me okay? Is the volume all right? Steve, you're going to give me a little clue? He's not in the building yet, clearly. He's not an early to the party bird, is he? Is anybody there that could just ping me a text just to let me know? Because look, Jim got me a new holder for my microphone, so my peg has been retired. Only took about 6 weeks, but I quite miss my little peg now. But there you go. I've got an all singing, all dancing microphone clip now. Bye bye, peg. Good. Steve's just told me that the sound is good. It was only because I was fiddling with it and I had to take the popper off and all sorts of things, and I thought, oh, I've broken it now. Typical. Come on, good morning, in we come. Steve's here, 9:59. Excellent. Okay, we've got loads to do today. Did you realise, I didn't realise till Grace told me yesterday, or was it, yeah, yesterday, Tuesday, losing track of time, that it was Africa Day, actually. On Monday, 25th of May, was proper Africa Day. It always is, apparently, because I looked it up. And so I thought, what are the chances of that? Eh? What are the chances of us guys, going to Africa the week that it's Africa Day? So I thought, bingo, serendipity, synchronicity, and all that. Isn't that marvellous? And then I decided, since we're all there, because there's loads of us, we'd take a while to get through customs, wouldn't we, us lot? With all our suitcases and luggage, and you wouldn't know what to take, would you? Clothes-wise. Yeah. But what are the chances of us lot all going to Africa on our doodle trip, and it's Africa Week? And so we're having a celebration. Yep, we are. I asked the guys at work to gather up some lovely Africa stuff and put it in an Africa area on the website. And last night I blogged one of my favourite stories. So if you fancy having a look, I did this ages ago with our stamps. They're really cute, look. And I built a story around it, a little story. So check it out. I've written it out for you, barbaragrayblog.com. So have a look, and there's a little anecdote. I built up a story around it, and we've got the elephant and the hippo and the giraffe and the lion and the flamingo and it's an ostrich, not a flamingo. An ostrich and a meerkat right at the top, and he solves the problem. So it's a pretty cool little story that I made up as I went along. But I think you'll like them. And so today, what we're going to do, so I'm going to Africa all day in my blog, because we've got so many lovely things, with African designs, and I thought it would be, why not? Why not? And it's interesting, once you become aware, because we're doodling and we've got the African tribes family, and once it's weird, you open your eyes and then I see loads of Africa things and things that remind me of Africa. And so that's what I'm going to do this week. And if you'd like to keep me company on my blog, I would really like that too. So let's get going. It's 10:01. Come on in. Everybody happy? I've been really impressed with your doodles. Well, they're not doodles, are they really? Doodles is one thing. These are illustrations, and I love it when you say, "Cool, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I did that." That makes me happy, And so today, if you recall, just to catch up, if anybody is joining us for the first time, we need to explain what we're doing. Last week we coloured in, didn't we? So we do colouring in with the postcards, right? So we've got these postcards. There is somewhere. There we go. They're lovely, right? So they're on the website as well. So we've got, there they are. Silly me. So one week we do postcards. And we learn how we hone our colouring in skills and shading, and people are pretty happy with that. So that's what we do one week, and then the following week we go doodling abroad. And a couple of weeks ago we went to New Mexico. I mean, all these SHAC recordings, they're all available, aren't they, on YouTube? So you can always. I noticed that more and more people are joining the gang. And it's great because you can always go back to the beginning and catch up. So you can hang out with us. You haven't missed anything. You can just always go rewind, stick with us, rewind, stick with us, rewind, stick with us. So it's a really great way of keeping you company, keeping you distracted. The whole purpose of the SHAC, safe, happy and creative, stay home and craft, is to help you get through these difficult times. And the longer it goes on, the more confusing things are becoming, I feel. I can only speak for myself, but at the moment, for me, this is a lifeline. It seriously is, because I know every morning at 10 o'clock, I've got to go and find a new top, and I've got to put my face on, and I've got to keep smiling, because why wouldn't you? I think we make up our minds in the end how happy we decide to be. And today I decide to be happy. And here we are together, all hanging out, a group of mates, and we've done some brilliant doodling. And what Jim did as well, he kindly, if you have a look, this was our shape. Most of us, we actually went for it, and it was fabulous. And then if you feel, well, I'd rather just do the patterning, like do the doodle part, then you can just download it. You go to our website, claritystamp.com, and there'll be on the front page, it says exactly, there's a picture of the outline. I even added a picture of the patterns yesterday, so that you can copy the patterns as well. So it's a really, it's a real creative process, and you can take it as far as you want. You can draw the whole thing yourself. You can take my drawing. You can add your own designs into the dresses. You can borrow mine. It's entirely up to you how your head is set, how you feel. So today, are you ready? Because yesterday I said that we should well, you were going to finish his outfit, weren't you? His robe. His outfit. I wish I shouldn't call it an outfit. His warrior's garb, right? And then today what we're going to do, we're going to ink this in, and then I'm going to black them in as well, because I think that looks so arty. But what we want to do, what I thought would be good, because we haven't done the lips, we'd have a little lesson in lips today. Do you fancy that? I think it'd be nice, because the lips are going to be, in my art, they're going to be white. They're going to come out. That's going to be the expression. You know, we were talking about how in African art, it's all about the relationship between the elements, like the people, the individuals, the stance, not so much about the symbolism of, you know, like when we were in New Mexico, it was more about the symbolism, wasn't it? Right, I've got my 005s, and I've got 3 of them now. God, what is it with Barbara that she always has to have everything in excess? I really need to work on that. Look, I've got 3 005s going now. Right, what's the time? 5 past? Yes. Here we are in the shack. Yeah, at the end of the day, all you need is a piece of paper and a pen and a pencil, don't you? Hey? It's just about hanging out together. I know there are loads of you sitting in the back with your cup of tea. You have no intention of joining in. You just enjoy the company. And do you know what? That's brilliant too. Why wouldn't you? It'll all be all right, you know. I was thinking about it earlier on this morning. We're not daft. We're clever people. We know what's sensible and what's not sensible. I talked to my dad earlier, asked him how he was doing. He said, I've got a routine, Barb. You know, I know my limits. I know what I can do and I know what I can't do. And I'm comfortable in my bubble. And he said, at the moment, it's all about self-preservation, because he's in his 80s. And now it's like, well, are we allowed out or aren't we allowed out? Right? And he said, I'm not going anywhere. He said, I want to get through this and I want to enjoy at least another 10 years. That's exactly what he said. Isn't that lovely? So he's staying where he is, and he's quite comfortable. And he said, I could be busy all day here in this house and I still wouldn't get everything done. So he said, I don't need to go anywhere. I remember what it's like out there. I said, I have a memory, which I think is impressive. So what we're going to do, are you ready? We're going to pen. I just want a little bit of scrap here. I just want a piece of scrap as well. And then I've got my pen. So I've got so many of them. I've got to check which one's what now. Let me just check. That's my number 1. I'll use that one. See, because we're doing so much of this, they do run out, you know. They do have a life. They do. One thing I would suggest as well is, because we've had a couple of people say, oh, I broke the nib. The nib's broken. Well, don't press so hard, please. They are art pens. They're not, you know, they're not biros. And I don't mean that in a patronising way. Just don't press so hard. And if, for example, the nib feels like it's not letting the ink through, or it's scratchy, I've said it a couple of times. I'll show you again. Let me just show you. What you do is you take the edge and you twizzle it. What you do is you just twizzle the top, just like that. Look, watch my hand. See how I'm rotating it? That's all you do. I've done workshops, right, where people have come in and I said, how's your pens? Because we're doing a doodle. They say, oh, mine's broken, mine's broken, mine's broken, mine's broken. I said, well, hang on a minute. Just get your pen out and do a little twizzle like that. And 99% of the pens come back to life. So there you go. They are good. Just got to look after them a bit. Right, so I know what I'm doing now. Are you ready? Are we cool? We're going to ink in our designs. Everybody all right? Everybody happy? I tell you what I think might be a good idea, is if I come up, I'm going to get on my little stool now. Honestly. If you could see me now. Da, 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 da. Right, there you go. If I come in a little bit closer, I think that makes better sense, doesn't it? How do you watch this? This is interesting. Steve, Ellen and I would be interested in this. Do you watch this on your PC? Do you watch it on an iPad, on a tablet? Do you watch it on your phone? How do you watch when you watch? Like when you watch Hochanda, the TV, or when you watch, when you're joining us in Facebook. Right, you ready? Oh, Dame Edna's, I found them yesterday as well. Behind the computer, that's handy. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know how you watch, wouldn't it? Right, you ready? And all we're going to do now, this is the Zen part, isn't it? Now, this is where we get to relax. I'm using my 005, one of my many, the smallest one in the set. And I'm just going back over my pencil lines. I think that's what we'd said we'd do today. Do you know? Oh, that's better. I think the thing about this all is that we have to chill, don't we? We've got to relax. We get so anxious. And I've got to say, the rubbish that's going on at the moment in the news, it is just... Now, where's my... It just gets on your pip, doesn't it? You just think, is that all that you can worry about? Really? Don't you think that there is more going on than whether some bloke went up to Durham or didn't go up to Durham? Who gives a monkeys? And then I get all frustrated. I can't find my... Don't matter. I need something to lean on. And I'm just looking, because my hands have gone all clammy. I'll just use a bit of copy paper. That'll do. So that I don't buckle as I'm leaning on it with my hot hands, because it's getting quite sweaty in here, you know. Yeah, so what I'm saying is that the whole debacle at Westminster at the moment just makes a mockery of everything. And I mean, I can only speak for myself. That's my opinion, and opinions are like noses. Everyone's got one. But I just think, oh, do you know, I need to switch off from that, because it just gets me upset and embarrassed. It's like a cringe. You know, you think, come on, what's going on with the English? Is that all you got to worry about? Don't you feel like that? Just want a bit thinner. Yeah, so I really like coming in here with you and then just switching off, really. Leave it all outside. That's where I'm going to leave it today. But I can't be alone. And I know this isn't easy. Gosh, you know, I get so many lovely letters and cards and gifts and notes and messages from you. You know, I'm like the one in the middle, aren't I? I'm cool with that. That's my job. But I get the stories, you know, and they're not my story to tell. And so I listen and I read and I think, well, then in that case, this SHAC is of great benefit, not just to me, but to many others. That's definitely my feeling, you know. There you go. And whether you use it as just a lesson in how to doodle and how to improve your colouring and how to improve, you know, that may be your driver. That may be what you want. You want to improve your skills and have a bit of fun along the way. Brilliant, eh? We're doing that anyway, aren't we? Or you may just See, to me, that's a benefit of what we're doing here, for sure. Of course it is. That's what keeps us going, isn't it? We love a challenge. But I think the primary purpose of our getting together in the SHAC every day at 10 o'clock is to redirect our thinking. Don't you agree? It just makes you... I find when I'm on my own in my head, because I'm on my own in my head a lot, because I'm in lockdown. You know, I told you that. And I don't intend to go out because I need to protect my mum and dad. And if I'm going to go in to see my parents, then I have to restrict myself too, and that's fine by me. And so I'm on my own in my head during a really difficult time. And so getting together with you guys at 10 o'clock every day, that takes me out of my head. Because the last thing I want to do is come here and then dump my rubbish on you, right? Because why would I do that? That would be ridiculous. That's the absolute polar opposite of what I'm trying to do here with you. And so, do you know what's lovely is with these flicks, right? Was I still on the page? I've just been so engrossed in what I've been doing. See, when you flick, you hold it and flick up with this little one, and it makes like little sun shapes. Look, it's really cool. Just flick, flick, flick. Nice. Yeah, so I mean, what we're doing here is just... it's calming, isn't it? If I was a yoga person, I guess I'd be doing yoga, or Tai Chi, or tight jeans, or whatever it's called. I did try yoga once. No, I did actually go to a class once with a friend, and it was all right. You know, I got my mat out and I went through the motions with everybody else in the room, as you do, and then all I remember was Mags, this was my friend, waking me up at the end of the lesson. Everybody had gone. And I was fast asleep. I was soundo. Absolutely out for the count. I hope I didn't snore. But I do know that I'd been dribbling. Yeah. I thought, well, it obviously worked, didn't it? And then I did go to a meditation thing with Grace in New York. It was really... She's right into it, Grace, and so we did go to this place in Manhattan, quite posh, very trendy, you know. We went to this class, and you go into this zone, really, you know, joss sticks, very nice, aromatherapy going on, expensive, trust me, but I thought, well, come on then, in we go. It was nice. And then we went in and there were all these cushions all over the floor. And you know, and then everybody started coming in and they all started grabbing a cushion. And fortunately, we got there early. So we were able to lean against the back wall. Because I don't like being in the middle, you know. I need to have my back to the wall. Something, I don't know, in a past life I must have been attacked from behind, because I can't even sit in a restaurant unless my back's to the wall, not comfortably. So we were in this place and it was like a guided meditation. I think that's what it's called. So we're doing this guided meditation and Grace is right into it. And I don't know, I'm not cynical. I wouldn't say I'm cynical. But I did actually, I didn't sort of I didn't get transported, you know, anywhere. But the only thing I remember is not being able to get up after having sat there on the floor for about an hour. I remember my whole body had seized up, like I couldn't get up off the ground. I thought, God, I'm not as fit as I think I am. I could not get up off the ground. I mean, I was never going to be able to cross my legs. That wasn't even on the cards. But, yeah, that's all I remember. I'm better walking. I like walking. I could walk miles. Miles and miles and miles. But I'm not really a yoga sort of meditative person. Are you? Are you into that? Right, you ready? Next one. This is the good one. This is where you have to concentrate a bit, Gray. What we're doing first. Right, let's just start with the little circles in the middle. Do you do yoga? Do you find it helps? I mean, it's different horses for different courses, isn't it? Or different courses for different horses, whichever rocks your boat. I can't switch off. That's my problem. So when I'm doing this, like now, doodling like this, I've got to concentrate on what I'm doing. I guess that's what makes me a crafter. And so that helps me switch off. But if I was just concentrating on my breathing, my mind doesn't stay with the breathing. It does it for the first inhale and exhale, and then I'm off on to other things then. And I'm constantly having to pull myself back, you know? Inhale, exhale, and I'm already miles away, but not, you know, not concentrating on my breathing anyway. I don't know. I don't think everybody can do that, can they? I think it takes practice. How you doing? Everybody okay? Are we in the zone? See, this is my favourite part because I haven't got to actually think about the pattern because we did that yesterday. So now it's just a question of inking. Some of you got ahead, I know, I saw that. I saw that some of you'd already inked and some of you'd already coloured, and that really is great, you know, because that means you're enjoying it and it means it's doing its job. If you're you know, who am I to say, no, hang on a minute, you're not allowed to do that yet? Crikey. You do exactly what you want to do. It's your drawing. It's your doodle. You know? I bet there are some of you that have done several. I bet you've printed off loads of the SHAC downloads. It's just distraction. It's distraction. It's a little bit of diversion, entertainment. It's harmless. It's safe. It's creative. Crikey. Ticks all the boxes, doesn't it? For us crafters. It cuts across all age groups, doesn't it? I mean, all age groups. Children, young, old. Anybody, I said it yesterday, anybody who thinks they're too grown up to doodle needs to rethink that. Hey? I love it. Are you leaning on something? Look how wet my hands are. It's blooming hot in here. Really hot in here. Dave said to me, he said, so where do your people come from? These guys. I said, well, Africa. He goes, well, Africa's a big place. I said, yeah, all right. I said, there are 3,000 tribes, Dave. I've been looking it up. He said, well, pick one. I said, okay, I would like to say, so then I started doing some homework, and I said, I think that they come from East Africa, and I would say they come from Kenya. If they're Maasai warriors, if they're from the Maasai tribe, then they come from like South Kenya, North Tanzania on that side. around that area. And yeah, Maasai, big tribe, huge tribe. It's about 500,000 in the Maasai tribe. Substantial, isn't it? They're the ones we were talking about on Monday. They have this dance. They have this dance. It's like a jumping dance. It's part of their ritual when they grow from a boy to a man. They learn how to do this jumping, and they jump like pogo jumping, really high. I mean, these guys are all very tall anyway. The average is about 6'3", 6'4", tall fellas. And they're best known for their jumping, really. That's what makes them unique out of all the 3,000 tribes. Yeah. And they actually, I mean, now they raise cattle, basically. Primarily they're ranchers, aren't they? Cattle is their game. But I mean, back in the day, they were quite a fearsome tribe. They were a tribe to be reckoned with. I know. I read up on it, and I thought, cool, okay. So they were hunters, and they were warriors. They weren't farmers. They've just adapted, I guess. Yeah, 3,000 tribes in Africa. Really old tribes as well, like some of the oldest in the world, that have never moved away from where they originated. They're not nomadic. They didn't travel, they just stayed put. There's a lot to be said for that, isn't there? Certainly now. And they haven't been not, I won't say tainted. They haven't been changed, or they still have their culture and their traditions and their language, and I like that. I like that they're their own people, The white man hasn't changed them and made them into a likeness of himself. He hasn't managed to do that. They still have their culture, which is brilliant, really. Live and let live, eh? And all that. I like this pattern on her dress, don't you? It's like a parquet floor. Yeah. How are you doing? Are you relaxed? I am. I'm right in the zone. In a minute, we're going to have to take a break because our arms are going to cramp up. Do you feel that sometimes? If you do, I've got to stop for a minute. I think it's a good idea just to have a break. Because if you're just penning and penning and penning, you get so in the zone. It's like me on the mat when I was in New York, and then you get up and you can't feel your legs. It's the same with your hand, isn't it? Just stop for a second, have a break, have a sip of tea. I'm on peppermint today. Look at my lovely cup, just for you. That's that Art Meath house again. Isn't that gorgeous? I love this one. Let's have a look at it. Look at those elephants. Aren't they just beautiful? Absolutely beautiful. I said to somebody on Facebook yesterday, she was saying, oh, I don't like my feet, I don't like the feet, I don't like this, I don't like... I said, but it's art, it's not a photograph. It's your art as well. And this art has been made into a mug. Look at that. I think that is just sublime, actually. And that was drawn by somebody with really, you know, epilepsy. That's what Art House Meath is. They're a non-profit group that encourage art, creativity. I think it's fantastic. You know, it's got substance, it's got meaning, hasn't it? I think what we're doing here's got substance, got meaning too. Are you happy? Good. I think you just have to figure out what makes you comfortable. You also have to figure out what makes you uncomfortable, and then I think you can start to separate it out. You know, we've been talking about our toolbox, haven't we? We have this toolbox, and we're filling it, aren't we? We fill it with skills, and we're filling it with doodling skills. We're filling it with illustrating skills, and also we're filling it with life skills. You know. So if you know that something upsets you, then you don't keep going to it. You say, well, hang on a minute, that causes me distress. Therefore, what do I have to do to change that? Can I change it? If I can, then I should. And if I can't, then I should probably avoid it. Or accept it if you can't change it. But either way, if something distresses you, then I think you need to address it. Like the news really gets on my pip at the moment. So guess what? I'm not watching it. It's a waste of time, waste of energy, waste of my good energy. And I'm wasting time that I'll never get back. You know, I honestly think that drawing a Maasai warrior's outfit is more constructive than listening to the news right now. So that's what we're going to do. Right, now we're on his robe. How are you feeling? Are you cool? We'll do him next. Right, let's have a look. I made a crease in mine, but then I decided to ignore it because it got a bit too technical. I thought, oh no, forget it. It's a pleat in a robe. Don't start losing sleep over it. It's fine. This is going to be amazing, you know, when we colour these in. These have got to be coloured in, haven't they? I mean, bright. When you look at the Maasai, that's why I'm thinking maybe he's not Maasai, but because it's always, they seem to wear red, don't they? They seem to wear red a lot. So either they got a really big delivery of red cloth and thought, right, well, that's it. We can't waste this. We're going to have to use it all up. Or it symbolises something. And that's what I shall have to investigate between now and tomorrow. Hey. Yeah. I will. I really enjoy it. I've got an inquisitive mind, obviously. I think most of you do too. And I want to find out, you know. Like, because I'm a linguist, that was my background is languages, thanks to my mum. So one of my questions was, well, what language do they speak in Africa? Well, apparently, right, the 3,000 tribes, get this, the 3,000 tribes, wait for it, speak between 1,500 and 2,000 languages. That's a lot of languages. So then I thought, right, next question. What's the most spoken language in Africa? Well, apparently it's Swahili. Did we know that? No, I did not. So I found that really interesting. Right, Swahili is the most spoken language in Africa. All right. And then I thought, okay, this is typical Barbara. This is the way the head works. I don't know. I can't help myself. So then the next question I've got is, so how do you say hello in Swahili? Do you think like that as well? It's like, all right, well, now we know that a lot of people, more people speak Swahili than any other language in Africa. So if I bumped into somebody from Africa, then if I said hello in Swahili, the chances are he might understand me. He'd probably understand hello as well. But, got to give it a go, haven't you? When in Rome and all that. So, hang on a minute. Put your pen down. I'm cramping again. Da-da, like that. What about, would you like to know how to say, I'll write it down for you, because I wrote it down. Right, I didn't learn it off by heart. You ready? Here we go. Who? Jambo. That means, oh, hang on, it's over here. Right, here we go. Let's get rid of the Indian Africans for a minute. Who Jambo? Who Jambo? Right, that means hello in Swahili. Ready? Hujambo. You say it back. Hujambo. There you go. Hujambo. Didadi. Hujambo. Hujambo. There you go. Didn't know you could speak Swahili. Haha. I've got another one for you. This is great. Because then, of course, I have to know more. What about this one? Where's that other one that I really... Oh, yeah, that's it. Right, ready? Ka salama. Ka salama. Now, remember I said that I studied linguistics. I'm not telling you this to show off, but phonetic transcription is always in square brackets. So that you understand, ka, right, in phonetics, you put a dot after the A. This would be interesting. If you ever go and look in a dictionary again, you'll look after a word and it tells you how to pronounce it, and you'll see it looks like it's funny symbols. That symbol, A with a umlaut, or not umlaut, with a colon, that's extended. So that will be ka, and then s, and then this one, this sort of weird looking sign like that is instead of a, it's You know, like the cat sat on the mat, the is like that. This is the sound. So this is so it'll be sir, and then this one is back to that one again. La, right? Sir, la, and then we're back to the again. So that is ka salama. See, that turns me on, believe it or not. I love to be able to take a word and then look at the phonetic transcription behind it and know how to pronounce it. Ka salama. And now I'll tell you what it means. Everyone's going, ka salama, ka salama. So what's ka salama mean? Ka salama means stay safe. And I thought, well, there you go then. Stay safe. Ka salama. So, hujambo, ka salama. Brilliant. There you go. You didn't know you could speak Swahili. Hujambo, ka salama. There you go. I'll write it on my blog later. I love it. I bloody love it. That is my passion. Language. You see? I love it. When I was at university and when I studied languages, I could get lost for hours in a dictionary. So I don't want number, I want 005. I'd go from one word to another and I'd look up, well, what does that word mean? What does that word mean? Then I'd go back to another language and then you'd go to another language and you just bounce around. And it was amazing how you could literally you could go for a walk through the dictionary for hours, just pinging backwards and forwards from English to German, and then back from German to English, and then go from English to Spanish. When I went to university, I decided to take up a new language because I'd never done Spanish, and because my mum is German, that was it was a bit easy really, because I was bilingual anyway. So it was like, well, this is going to be a doddle going to university if you study German when you already speak it perfectly. Having said that, though, linguistics is a little bit different. But so I thought, right, well, I need to stretch myself, and I looked up what's the most spoken language in the world, because I thought, again, it's the whole Swahili theory. If more Africans speak Swahili than any other language, then learn Swahili, and then that way you'll be able to speak to more Africans. That's my theory, and I'm sticking to it. So I looked up, the most spoken language in the world is Chinese. No surprises there. But I didn't fancy Chinese, because I thought, I don't imagine that I'm ever going to go to China or work in China. But the second most spoken language in the world is Spanish, and I thought, that sounds like more my speed. So I studied Spanish and German, and I do speak Spanish, not as well as German, but I understand it very well. And once I lived there for a while, and once I've been there a while, I can hold my own. I can certainly read a Spanish newspaper, but for me, it's like a huge puzzle. It's like a riddle. I just want to know. I'm curious. I want to know. I suppose we're all wired differently, aren't we? My mum gave me that gift because she didn't speak English when I was born, for a start. So if I wanted to communicate with my mother, then Deutsch was the way, wasn't it? That was my option, my only option. And they tell me that when we lived in London, we used to live in Shepherd's Bush in Hammersmith, and when the German grandparents used to come over to visit, and the English grandparents, they lived in Harlesden, so they'd come there as well, and we'd all be sitting there, and I'd be in the middle. I was the interpreter. I used to have to translate between the grandparents, you see, because one lot couldn't speak English and the other lot couldn't speak German, and I'd sit in the middle, and I was only about 3 or 4. I wasn't grown up. I was about 3 or 4 when we lived in Shepherd's Bush. So yeah, Hammersmith, that is. But it's interesting, isn't it, how you... Probably the greatest gift that I was given by my mum was bilingualism, I think, because it certainly opened my mind, And I don't tell you all that to be a smart ass. I tell you that because it's a big part of me. And I'm pretty sure there are lots of Germans. We've got lots of German friends doodling along with us as well. And manchmal spreche ich Deutsch, dann spreche ich English. And I don't do that to show off. It's just, I do it because it's in my blood. And hey, now we speak Swahili. Who knew? Ka salama. I won't forget that. So you've got to, in your head, if you can't remember it, think of castle, like the turrets that I'm drawing here. Think of castle, and then think of salami, but instead of salami, go salama. So you've got castle army. See? Castle, salami. Join them together and go casalama. Or go castle and then think of the llama, like the push me pull you, you know? Think of the llama. Casalama. So if you think of a llama sitting outside a castle, casalama. That's easy. That's better than salami. Or you work out your own association game, don't you? Right, so we've got a castle and a llama now. That'll do. You'll remember it. At the end, when we say cheerio, see you tomorrow, right, we all have to go castle llama, which means, as you know, stay safe. Castle llama. And tomorrow morning, when we meet, we're going to say, who Jambo? Who? What do you mean, who? Who Jambo? Let me tell you a story. While we get round here. Right, ready? So when I lived in Germany, I used to teach English as a foreign language because that was how I eked out a living in my 20s, right? And I used to teach business English to German business people. And back in, like, this is at the beginning of the 80s, it was awful really, because all of a sudden, all these poor German businessmen, they were in their 50s, suddenly they were expected to learn how to speak English, or they lost their jobs. It was that easy, right? McCarthy, it was like lean and mean. They were stripping these companies clean anyway. And so these middle-aged German businessmen were suddenly, they had to, so we were there and we were teaching them. And there was this one fella, Tibor his name was, and he couldn't get it, poor bloke. I really liked him. He was such a smashing fella. Anyway, we were doing this beginning course. And we had this little, it was like a little comprehension, like a little paragraph. And the paragraph, it said, oh, I've got to explain this. Let me show you. In German, right, this is mad, but this is the way it is. Let me show you. Who, in English, right, is wer in German. And where, in English, is wo in German. I mean, you can see, can't you? You're on a hiding to nowhere here. So who is wer and where is wo? Right? And Tibor, he couldn't get it. So we'd done this little comprehension. I felt sorry for him. We'd done this little comprehension text, and it was all about Mrs. Brown. I'll never forget it. Mrs. Brown, the canteen manageress, is absent from work because she is in hospital. So I said to Tibor, who is the canteen manageress? And he said, she is in the hospital. I said, who? He said, she is in the hospital. And the number one rule is you never laugh when your students, right? Because it damages them. You can't, you're not allowed to laugh. They're having a hard time anyway. You don't curl up laughing when somebody makes a mistake. I tell you what, I couldn't get off the floor. I couldn't help it. Yeah. Who is the canteen manageress? She's in the hospital. No, people. Who? She's in the hospital. Do you know, I wish I'd written a book back then. I blooming wish I'd written a book, because I have got so many of those little anecdotes. And of course, they're all, not all forgotten. I never forgot Tibor. Right, should we do the lips? Have you done that bit? Are we happy with the penning? Should we do some lips? Let's get a bit of paper. Do you fancy a little lesson in lips? I mean, it's easy enough, isn't it? I'm sure that you'll know how to do lips. But just in case, how about we have a little lesson in it? Yeah? So let's practice before we put our lips in, because we're not going to do a whole face. I mean, if you wanted to, you could. But let's just have a look at the lips, right? Let me show you a little lesson in lips. So if you take a head, let's just do it bigger so that you can see it. If you take a head like that, like an egg, then about halfway down the egg, like that, that's going to be where the eyes are, right? And then about halfway down that, there, like that, that's going to be where the nose is. So that'll be the nose there, and that'll be the eyes there, right? So it's weird. And the ears are actually there, just so you know. So if you get a head, the ears are always in the lower half, they start. And then the lips, let me just put a little triangle there, right? This is another quarter here, right? So you go half the egg, half that, and then half that. And then this little triangle here, that's where the lips go, believe it or not. It's worth just playing with this. When we finish at 11 o'clock, play with this, right? And I just want to show you, if we take that little triangle now, let's blow that triangle up. Let's make it an isosceles triangle. My granddad taught me this, my English granddad, right? So if you let's make an isosceles triangle. So that's the bottom and then the two tallest. This is it here, right? And the way to draw a lip is, if you like, you make a little, you want to make a little, this is this bit in your lip, this bit here, that bit, right? So you're going to draw that there, right? And this is really a good trick. And then somewhere down here, depending on, now you can make it a happy. Look, this line is what decides whether you got a happy face or a smiling lips, miserable lips down. You can make it neutral. You can make it miserable. You can make it cheeky by bringing it over a little bit. But this is the line that dictates the mood, right? Let me show you. So let's just do a neutral one. I'm just going to do a straight one. That'll do. Right. So then what we're going to do is we're going to make, and this is going to be the bottom of the lips here, right? So then you're going to make like a bow, if you like. So you go like that and you join up. See, and you start there, and this is how it gets symmetrical. And then this line along here, what we're going to do there is we're just going to make a little, like a little divot. So it goes up and a little curve like that, right? Let's show you. So you go down like that, like a little echo of that one, but not so much. And then you make a little divot like that. Look, so you see? Does that make sense? So you make a little thing up there, and it's, if you looked at it like that, it looks like a bow. It looks like a bow and arrow, doesn't it? See? And then the bottom bit here, you just swing it round, and then it's up to you if you want to join it like that. Look. So then you've got a, like that, smiley face, boom, lip. And then if you want to open the mouth, there's your option. That's when you can open the mouth there if you choose to. Like that. Look. See? So when you do it in on tiny scale, all this shows you now is whereabouts on the face, right? So it's that lower part of the face. So it's a little bit of just practice, right? Egg, halfway down, eyes, halfway down their nose, halfway down their lips. Triangle for the nose, the triangle for the lips comes straight after, and the ears is underneath the eye. Can you see how that really is proportionate? Mm-hmm. And so the lips here, right, this is, I'm going to show you, right, look, play. This is such good fun. Play. Take your isosceles triangle, add your little divot. Now you can change. You can make the lips fatter. You control. If you want to make it a miserable one, go like that. Look, see? If you go like that, and then like that, and then you bring it down like that. Look, you know immediately he's going to have a long lips, like that. See? You can change, and then you do a little divot like that. And then when you shade it, you'll see immediately. Look, you can see, can't you? Downturned lips, upturned lips. Look, smiler. Look, this one, I skewed it. A little bit of a cheeky chappy. See? If I want the lower lip to be smaller, well then I just bring the line, when I do the triangle, if that's my little divot at the top where the bow's going to be, I just bring the line that creates the mood, let's call it the mood line, just bring it down a bit. If I want the top lip to be, do you see what I mean? So then I've got big lips, smaller bottom lip. If I want it to be tight lips, say not such big lips, then I bring this down, don't I? And then I can bring down the top one. See how you've got hours of play on this? It is just so cool, right? I know this isn't typically Africa, but check it out. Look, 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 look. Happy? Just have a play. And I'm telling you now, the isosceles triangle, and just put in the little, that is the key to the whole thing. Just take a bit of copy paper and a pencil, do that, put that in, and then this one, the mood one. Do you want to bring it to the side? If you want to bring it over to the side so it's a little bit quirky, then you've got to, obviously, the bow, everything's got to come to the side, see? So then that moves over there like that. This moves in, make a little curl there. There you go. And then you can see straight away it's to the side more, isn't it? A bit cheeky. You see? What do you think of that then? What do you think of that? It's a doodle, isn't it? But it would be worth having a play. What you got to lose, eh? And then what I want you to do is then add your lips to your people, right? This is going to be so cool, right? So add your lips. So I'm not going to worry about. Look, let me take him. Let's do him. So his head was here. He's already got half his head's in his hat, isn't it? In his head dress. Right? So there's his, let's just pretend. So now his eyes, his ears are here, so his eyes are going to be there, so his nose is going to be there, and his mouth is going to be there. So that's going to be the little area where his lips are going to be. So even if nothing else, you want to get them in the right place, don't you? So if that's like that, and then I'm going to put my lips there like that, and then I'm going to come in like so. Right, I'm going to make these lips quite big, only because in a minute I want to black his face out. And so I want his lips to be quite big because I want them to be white in his black face. You see? Because I'm going to take, and I want to do all three of these, and I'm going to take one of my big pens now. Let me show you. It's about the number 3 or the number 5, right? So what I'll do is I'll take the 005. Let me just do his face. I know we're running a little bit longer again, but that's okay. Right, lips in. Okay, and I won't even worry about the line down the middle and whether it's open or not. I'll deal with that afterwards. But I've got the white area now. So when I go in to black his face out, like this, I'm giving myself a really good... See, I can always make them smaller. I can always come in with the black, can't I? But I can't take the black away. See? So when I come in with his face... And this is where your pens... This is where you want to go in with your 5 or your 8, one of the larger ones, just to black in. 5 or 8. What have I got? I'm using 3 because it's all I can find at the moment. Typical. But if you see what I'm getting at, you see the lips are there now. And then we just colour this in. And his ears. I haven't given him earrings yet either. And you'll see this is so You could do this if you wanted to. You may not want to, right? But you can do this. There you are. And then with his neck, see, you might want to just leave a little tiny bit of whiteness. You can always fill it in afterwards if you think it looks weird, right? But it just gives a little bit of contrast. Do you see what I've done between the head and the neck? And then you're going to go in and you wait. When you start colouring this in, your artwork, it just becomes so elegant and so dramatic. See? And because we've doodled the jewellery into place, when we can come in now, you'll see, you start to build your picture. And that's how, let me just fast forward, that's how you get that look. Isn't that glorious? Isn't that glorious? I mean, that is so arty. But it's entirely up to you. You may decide that you don't want to make them black. That's my style. I like that look, and I want to make beautiful lips so that the face isn't just one big black face, but it has that personality still. And you know, it's just art, isn't it? It's not a photograph, it's art. And also, I find that's easier than eyes. Eyes is a whole other ball of wax, you see. And do you remember on Monday I was saying, if you're not good with hands, put the hands behind the back. If you're not sure about the feet, then drop the dress. If you're not sure about the eyes, especially when you're in Africa now, you can certainly just make it art, you know. Interestingly enough, when you look at most African art, the characters are black, and then the colourful robes bring them to life. It's really great contrast. So there you go. I hope you enjoyed our doodle session. We've been going for over an hour, but I think it's been a really smashing session. I've enjoyed this. And so if you have time, do me a favour, and if you feel inclined, this is the point at which you're going to put the lips in, beautiful lips, and you're going to black them out. And then tomorrow we'll move on, because I've got other ideas, and we'll move on to the frame. You know, like we did when we did the dream catcher, right? Thursday and Friday we're going to do the other part, and that will do, I think, for today. So Castle Llama, and you know how I remembered it? Castle Llama. Be safe, be sensible, enjoy the beautiful sunshine if it is sunny where you are. Draw some lips, get good, okay, and be creative. And I will see you tomorrow morning. Steve, thanks very much for helping. I'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, and we'll crack on with our doodleology in Africa. And until then, Castle Llama. Bye now. I like that word.